This episode of the Halliday Cellar Door is proudly brought to you by Halliday Wine Companion, the home of Australian wine. For more, visit winecompanion.com.au and you'll never drink a bad bottle of wine again.
We're on the final leg of our journey around Australia, meeting the last two members of Australia's first families of wine. Soon, we're heading west to Howard Park at Margaret River. But first, we're at Taylor's, the most awarded winery in the world. This is the Halliday Cellar Door.
I'm James Halliday. The first families are family-owned and run wine businesses, run by real people and making real wine of wonderful quality with no compromise. Fine wine has to have a soul, and the 12 families have put their heart and soul into their wineries over, of course, in some instances, many generations. Taylor's was established in 1969 by Bill Taylor. His aspiration was to make wine of world quality and hang the expense in doing so. In 2009, the first vintage of a super deluxe wine, the Visionary, was released in tiny quantities. It really is a best of the best selection from across their vineyards. It's Cabernet Sauvignon, and over the long term it will undoubtedly come well and truly into its own, and I think Bill Taylor would be very happy with that wine being as it is today.
Mitchell, you're a third generation Taylor, managing director and a winemaker here at Taylor's. What's it like to be part of such a successful wine business?
Oh, it's a great honour. It's always been a dream, to be continuing the family tradition and heritage, and to, having grown up with it. But my grandfather, he had this vision. He had been overseas. He had seen the great chateaus of Bordeaux. So his vision was to see a beautiful old dairy here in the southern end of the Clare Valley, and to use those fabulous terroir soils and plant 400 acres of Cabernet Sauvignon.
So what brought him to the Clare Valley then? What attracted your grandfather?
It was the versatility of the region. We actually looked at other areas like Coonawarra and the new forming Margaret River. My grandfather was a farmer originally, so he was a man from the land. He was a beaver boy, in fact, on a dairy farm. And he said, well, look, if we're going to go back into this venture, make sure that we're going into South Australia. It's very dry here. We've got to have a dam. That was the first thing we did prior to planting. And as we dug into the beautiful terroir soils in the limestone, we found these lovely fossilised seahorses.
Yeah, so incredible.
And that's been a symbol of the luck, the beauty of the lovely soils that we've got. Wow. But also from day one, we've got those three seahorses representing the three generations of the Taylor family that set up the business.
Well, I would love to enjoy this one. Can we taste this one?
For sure, this is the lovely St Andrews Cabernet Sauvignon.
And this is
2015.
the St Andrews.
Yeah, this is the old historic winery that was established in 1892. But this is under the beautiful screw cap, another innovation that we've encouraged here in the Clare Valley. We kicked it off with our Rieslings in 2000.
2000.
As a group
It's been that
project.
long, nearly 2 decades of screw caps.
Yeah, nearly 2 decades. But the funniest thing was we were actually the first winery, because the screw cap's about quality, but we were the first winery to go 100% screw cap.
Really?
In 2004. Cabernet Sauvignon, again, like my grandfather said, it is the king of grapes. It's really, small, tight, can be quite tannic, but when you've got a bit of time, like this is a 2015, it's now 4 years, and it's really starting to come together in balance.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's got a lovely, deep black currant, colour to it. The beauty of Cabernet Sauvignon is that it's got nice length all along the palate and really lingers well.
Oh, that's delicious. So from a winemaking perspective, what's your favourite wine here?
I love experimenting with all the different styles. So, Riesling, Chardonnay. So, and there's always a new variety to look at. We've just planted Tempranillo here, the Spanish variety, on the estate, and they're getting some really exciting results with that.
Oh, so. I can't wait to try them all then. I'll finish this one first.
Halliday Wine Companion is your home of Australian wine. Discover winecompanion.com.au, which features more than 125,000 Australian tasting notes. With the Halliday Virtual Cellar, you can electronically store, track and monitor wine bottles, a must for anyone with a home cellar. Plan your next getaway with more than 3,400 winery and cellar door reviews, and find behind-the-scenes exclusives from this series of the Halliday Cellar Door. So visit winecompanion.com.au to become a member, and you'll never drink a bad bottle of wine again.
Clinton, what are some of your fond memories growing up in the wine world?
Probably picking grapes, and that was fun, but it was hard yakka. It was really hard work.
A great way to learn though. You've got to start from the ground up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've worked in a few areas across the business, be it in sales or in production as well.
And currently?
Currently, I'm the general manager here at the winery, and which is a great role. It's a very diverse role. There's a lot going on here. We do it all here in the Clare, here at our vineyard. And so vineyards, through to winemaking, through to bottling, out to our sales forces. So we do a lot, and that's definitely, we feel, one of our great advantages, that we can control everything from the soil through to putting it in a bottle and taking it to market.
And what have we got here?
We've got a St Andrews Shiraz, which is estate fruit off our property here. So we're here in Clare. We've got about 500 hectares of vines, and we've grown over the years. So we started in '69, and we planted grapes then, and we planted Cabernet and Shiraz, and that's probably the staple of Taylor's, and what we're really well known for is our Cabernets and Shirazes.
Right, well, I'd love to taste this
Should
one.
we try some?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lovely Shiraz. Now, what are we looking for in this Shiraz?
Well, a nice nose. It's got colour initially, so you can put it down and with a bit of a darker backdrop and see the nice colour. And that's really stemmed from some of those vessels and the hand plunging and open barrel ferments that I mentioned that we're doing. And then you're looking for, black currant, blackberry sort of characteristics to a Shiraz.
Darker berries.
Darker berries, yeah. And then with the oak and a lot of the work we're doing with oak, you want it to, of course, be in balance. So you don't want any hard tannins from the oak. So you don't want any tartness on the top of the lid of your mouth. And then you want it to get those fruit flavours, and then you want it to linger on your back palate.
Right.
That's the key to a good wine. If it stays with you for a period of time, you don't want it to.
The length.
Yeah, you want to have a sip. Let's have a sip, and just see how long, having swallowed, how long it sort of persists in the back.
Have you worked at the cellar door before? You're very good at this.
I should. Once, a day or two I did this. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. It does.
Yeah, it's still with me.
It's still there.
It's still there. So that's
exquisite.
That's a great thing, and it, as I said, it's in nice balance. So
yeah, well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Justin, this space, there's a lot of history here, isn't it? It's very old, as you can hear the crazy sounds.
But yeah, we've got some great history here in this space, and where people have weddings in here. We've had sales conferences in here. It's an amazing space.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, currently, what wines have you got in Halliday Wine Companion this year?
Well, James always reviews quite a number of the family's wines. At the moment, the Riesling that we've got here, the St Andrews Riesling, got a fantastic score. I think it's right up in the high 90s. Our Visionary Cabernet Sauvignon, again, right up in the high 90s, so fantastic scores. And I remember, you know, my background in the business is the sales side of it. So James's endorsement to your wines means a huge amount.
Yeah, right.
And around the world, it means a huge amount sort of stuff. And it's respected third-party endorsement from, you know, one of the most respected writers in the Australian industry.
That's right. Well, let's try this Riesling.
Absolutely. Let's get into that.
What makes the Rieslings from the Clare Valley so good?
Oh, look, I think if you're being really honest about that, it comes back to terroir.
Yeah.
That just certain regions do certain wines really well. Here, I think we have an incredible amount of sunlight here.
Okay.
We have wonderful diurnal shifts in temperature. So we can have really hot days here in summer.
Yeah.
And then we get these cool nights. Your fruit's staying on vine longer, so the delicacy of your fruit is all there. Right. The beautiful rich red terroir soils out of Clare. It's a magnificent terroir for the production of
and that's great
a Riesling.
A Riesling.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, thank you. Okay. So what have we got here?
So it's the limes, lemons. It's a wonderful wine. You know, without even, I just know this wine so well. And
you don't even have to smell it.
The limes and lemons are coming through.
Yes,
Vibrant acidity on that wine coming through. I was drinking it in Toronto last year with a bunch of sommeliers. There was like 20 sommeliers and I sitting around a table. Beautiful day in Toronto. We served it with oysters, squeezed a bit of lemon on it, and then we drank this and I literally went, do I have to say any more? You know, and it's a vibrant wine, fruit expression on the front palate.
Yeah, the citrus, it's great.
It's lovely.
I love how a Riesling, to me, it always paints the picture of summer, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, sets the scene.
Yeah.
I'm already there, relaxing. I like it.
Very much so.
Yes, thank you very much.
Cheers.
I have had a great experience here in the Clare Valley meeting the Taylor brothers, and now it's time for me to sit back, relax and enjoy this wine and chocolate tasting. Don't mind if I do.
Halliday Wine Companion is your home of Australian wine. Discover winecompanion.com.au, which features more than 125,000 Australian tasting notes. With the Halliday Virtual Cellar, you can electronically store, track and monitor wine bottles, a must for anyone with a home cellar. Plan your next getaway with more than 3,400 winery and cellar door reviews and find behind-the-scenes exclusives from this series of the Halliday Cellar Door. So visit winecompanion.com.au to become a member and you'll never drink a bad bottle of wine again.
Howard Park was established in 1986 when a winemaker came across from Coonawarra and started growing grapes and making wine. It was then taken over, but John remained as winemaker, by the Burch family. Much later, they moved into Margaret River, and I just take my hat off to Amy and Jeff Burch, the parents of the dynasty. They've done, amazing things. It's a very pretty location. I seem to end up there quite a bit, one way or another. It's a really successful operation because they have focused so much on getting the tiers of quality and the labels right. Every bottle coming from Howard Park, you're attracted to the way it's packaged, whether it's a $20 bottle or a $70 bottle.
Jeff, you're the owner of Howard Park Wines. What attracted you to this gorgeous part of the world?
Oh, it's no doubt. We were down here surfing.
Yeah.
Coming down with my brother and young family, surfing down here and loving the surf. And then we built a beach house down here, so we were coming down for that. and the wine industry was incredibly a small area then. And I used to run a tasting program at my beach house in January, and we would run a tasting program, and by default I got into the wine business.
Oh wow.
I came from the consumption side, you might say.
Well, that's not a bad side to come from. And what do you think led to Howard Park's success over these years?
Howard Park, we've always had a fairly single-minded approach when we started off to try and make the best wines we could, and that's easy to say, but it's been a long journey, and we've spent the last 30 years putting together a selection of vineyards. Each vineyard is a special site that's been selected for its drainage, its soil, its aspect, its altitude. We've put that together with a range of clones of the varieties. So in the end, we finish up with 2 great vineyards in the Great Southern and 2 great vineyards in the Margaret River for different reasons, which makes us a specialist in the 2 best regions in Western Australia, the Great Southern and Margaret River.
I see. And you do produce a sparkling, which has a French influence.
Yes, we're very proud of our sparkling production, and in fact, Janice MacDonald, our chief winemaker, picked up a trophy this year in London for the Champagne and Sparkling Wine International competition.
Wow.
So our Howard Park Jeté Blanc de Blanc, non-vintage.
And Jeté?
Jeté is a lovely, lovely word. It comes from my brother. He's been not only did he help us establish the vineyards and manage our vineyards, but in a previous life he was a principal dancer with the Australian Ballet. And danced for a long time, but then wanted to get back into surfing, and the body wears out quickly in ballet.
Right.
So he came up with a name, and it's a ballet term.
Yeah.
So jeté, of course, is jump. So we have petit jeté, small jump, we have jeté, jump, and we have grand jeté, which is the big leap.
Yeah.
So on a ballet you would go jeté, 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 grand jeté. So we think it's a wonderful term because jeté, to do great jeté in ballet, you need passion, commitment, technique, and a lot of training.
Yeah.
And to produce sparkling wine, you need passion, commitment, and you need a lot of luck and training.
Right, and it's
So it
all
fits
in
pretty
yours,
well. Yeah.
in your beautiful range. And I did notice you've got all the Halliday companions for quite a few years up there.
I think we've got at least 20 years. So occasionally you need to go and refresh your mind on what actually did James say about the 94. We're particularly proud of the 94 because that was when James was not judging out of 100, it was 20 points. And we got 19 out of 20. And I thought it was pretty good. And I was pretty new in the wine industry then, so I rang him up and said, "What's wrong with the wine?" And he spluttered and said, "What?" I said, "Why didn't it get 20?
Yeah.
He said, "Nobody gets 20. 19's an unbelievably good score." He said, "You've got a lot to learn, my boy."
Oh, really? Get some stern words with you. Now, I have to ask you, if you could have one or the other, would it be beach or vines for the rest of your life?
Oh, if I was a bit younger when I was keener on surfing, I'd probably go the beach. But now I've graduated to golf, I'd probably say the wine.
The wine. Well, you're lucky because you have the best of both worlds, don't you? You've got it all here. Richard, you're a second-generation family member of the Burches, and you obviously work for the winery. Introduce us to Howard Park.
Howard Park's a range of small, handcrafted and high-quality wines made from 2 of the top-growing regions in Western Australia. So those would be, you've got the warm sort of paradise of Margaret River, which is situated right next to the Indian Ocean.
Yep.
And further south, you've got the Great Southern Wine Region, which is situated right next to the Southern Ocean and is really influenced by some really cool breezes down there. And on top of that, our vineyards are sort of managed by organic and biodynamic principles, and we're sort of transitioning towards organic certification by 2020. But
Yeah, and well, your dad did mention that he was drawn here. One of the reasons he was drawn here was because the soil was fresh, it hadn't been touched by pesticides, so that's very important to your family.
Yeah, it's sort of a blank canvas at the moment, and Mum and Dad were really able to sort of do what they wanted to do and plant what they wanted to plant and create their own history and carve out their business their own way, and it's been very exciting to sort of watch that grow to where we are now, 33 years later.
Wow. And growing up in the wine business, you must have some fond memories.
Absolutely. I feel very lucky to grow up down in Margaret River, and particularly Yelling Up, where we spend a lot of our time. It's just a fantastic part of the world in Western Australia, and it's one of the few wine regions in the world, I think, that's so close to some pristine coastline, as well as some world-class beaches.
Yeah, iconic beaches, world famous.
Yeah, I've got some really some great memories when you sort of wake up at the beach house in the morning, you'd work out as a family where you're going to go surfing, or if you're going to go fishing down the road and catch some abalone like we did this morning.
Yeah.
And then once you've worked out that, you go and do it, and then you come home, and then you head to the vineyard and the winery, do a full day's work. Then,
Work?
Oh,
Doesn't sound like work.
It doesn't really feel like work either. Then you come home, and then you sort of cook up the day's catch on the barbecue, sit in the balcony and have a glass of wine. It's just a really great way to live your life down here.
Richard, tell me about the people who work at Howard Park.
There's been so many great people that have been involved with Howard Park's journey. Today, our wines are made by Janice McDonald, who is an exceptional winemaker, and we absolutely love working with her. We're very proud of it.
Bit of a rock star down here.
She absolutely is a rock star. She's an absolute gun. And she's just recently, last month, won Winemaker of the Year, so we're very proud of that. Wow. In the vineyards, our team led by David Botting, who's our viticulturalist, who lives and breathes growing vines, and he's been a huge driver of innovation in our business. And all these building blocks are very, very helpful and have really positioned Howard Park for the future, for the second generation, my brother, my sister and I to sort of come on board and hopefully carry on all the hard work they've done.
Is that your plan, to take this thing over?
That's the plan, that's the plan. No pressure.
No pressure. I'm sure you're doing a great job already. All right, I want to taste your wines though. I'm very much looking forward to this. What have we got?
So we've got two wines here. We've got our Leston Cabernet, which is a lovely wine. It's got sort of 25-year-old vines, which is right on the vineyard that surrounds us here.
Yep.
And it's just got 95 points from James Halliday, which is fantastic.
Wow.
But the one I want to show you is the Allingham Chardonnay, which is a family name. It's our top Chardonnay, which I think you might enjoy.
Nice. I haven't had that many Chardonnays on our journey, so this is a treat.
Margaret River's known for some fantastic Chardonnay. There's some amazing producers down here making great Chardonnay. It's the perfect place to grow very rich and full Chardonnay, and I think if you can really get your ducks in a row and sort of, it can be fantastic.
Okay, so what are we looking for here?
I think you're looking for really nice richness. First of all, you've got to really get some nice aromas in the wine. Okay. I find a lot of the wines have a nice little lemon sort of character to them as well, which I quite like, and again pairs really well with seafood.
Yep.
But then underlying that, you've got layers of flavour, there's richness, and then there's a sort of a subtle sort of hit of oak that's sort of just sort of holding everything together underneath.
Okay, let's give it a go. That is top notch.
Thank you very much.
I know I scared you before when I said I'm not a big Chardonnay girl, but this got a bit of honey in there. I can taste honey on the back of my tongue.
Yep.
And what would this go well with?
I think this wine goes really well. It's quite versatile. It is a richer style wine, but I think it's still very versatile. You can pair it with like a chicken coq au vin or sort of a roast chook, which is a really nice little Sunday option. Or again, I really do think that it pairs very well with a lot of different seafoods, preferably with some creamier sauces and things like that. Yeah. So the acidity sort of cut through that a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not too oaky at all.
Good, great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. David, you're also part of the Burch family. You're Richard's brother. What is your role here? What are your responsibilities?
So I've been helping run and manage the company from a young age.
Right.
So I'm from e-commerce, from sales and marketing, regional sales, and a few vintages here and there.
Yeah.
And it's been a great experience.
Do you remember your first job here at Howard Park?
Well, we planted the plane trees along the driveway, and did a lot of that. Yeah,
driving the compost around, I heard.
Yep. Late at night, driving the tractor into the bush.
Yeah.
But yeah, the grapes enjoy the cold.
Yeah.
So crushing at night time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At night time?
Well, usually we want to make sure that they're nice and cold and prior to crushing.
So obviously your mum is involved in the business and she helped design this impressive cellar door behind me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to chat with her next. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amy, you're married to Jeff and you're really the head of the family and in charge of this place, aren't you?
We both partner each other very, very well. Jeffrey has a very important role to play, guiding the wine styles, the creation of the vineyards, which he's very passionate about. And I'm the backstop, but also really involved in the creativity of the sites and the look and the feel of Howard Park. So yes, I really love that part of it.
Well, that's right. You were instrumental in getting this enormous, beautiful building off the ground. It's your design, isn't it?
Well, it is. I worked very closely with a group of people. Because of my Asian heritage, I was able to tap into feng shui. And feng shui to me just makes a lot of sense when you're doing something as important as building history for our wine business and our wine company and our family ongoing. So it was a big project, and I thought, let's get feng shui involved. A professor from University of Beijing, a Chinese professor, who was coming to Perth to talk about feng shui. And of course he got involved, and between the architects and the feng shui professor, we come up with this creation, something that we believe reflects who we are. So to create history, to start the story, was important. I felt very excited to be part of that.
Wow, and it's won architectural awards.
Yes, we have won awards, the Royal Architects of Australia Building of Excellence, but also that same year we got a great deal of press. We were one of the most beautiful buildings in Australia at the time. So they all did a great job. We had a lot of fun doing it. Exhausting, but it's worth it in the end.
And I can see that it's going to stand the test of time and just be classic. It's timeless. From east to west, we have visited all of Australia's first families of wine. And as the sun sets on WA, we say goodbye to this series of the Halliday Cellar Door. Thanks for watching.
This episode of the Halliday Cellar Door was proudly brought to you by Halliday Wine Companion, the home of Australian wine. For more, visit winecompanion.com.au and you'll never drink a bad bottle of wine again.